Babwe Banter, Babwe Banter.
Hey guys, welcome to Babwe Banter. We are streaming live from the Fladlit Hellenic School. It is incredible stuff. It's all about the Kershaw Cup this evening. You can hear the crowd outside. Exciting stuff. Manny, my boy, how's it going?
Yeah, so good, hey? So nice to be at Hellenic. So good to be here. It's great.
Jan Ferreira, you are drinking tea. What the hell is going on?
There's not a lot of beer on this side of the field.
Well, that's Jan Ferreira. We've got JJ. He's going to be talking all about our rugby and the URC. We're talking about Heineken Cup coming up.
Heineken Cup? Yeah.
Okay, and then we have got a very special guest, Liam Middleton, coached the Zimbabwe Sevens for 8 years. He coached Canada as well, astute coach. He is the sports director here at Hellenic. He's doing fantastic work. They are winning the water polo rugby. They are really performing. Liam, welcome to Babwe Banter.
Thanks, Robbie. Good to be with you guys tonight.
Cool. Liam, fantastic event that's come up now. You've run it for some time. Tell us a little bit about this event and what it's about.
So basically, when I came back to Zim, having a passion for the sevens game, what I realized was that most schoolboys will play around 10 to 12 games a season. So that's the average for a schoolboy, and that's not enough. You get better at rugby by playing rugby. Mm-hmm. Yes, you get better at skills by practicing, but you get better at rugby by playing rugby. So having a passion for sevens and being a smaller school at the time where we didn't have a lot of numbers, we decided to delve into sevens. We started out with a Floodlit Sevens series 5 years ago. And I tell you the interesting thing was that it was difficult for us to find people to play against. So our first series was 2 tournaments, Mbari Academy and Mbari Academy. The only guys who would come and play us. 5 years on, we could fill 10 Wednesdays of fixtures. You know, people are keen to get into it. So the concept behind Rugby was to give boys more playing time. Obviously Hellenic boys first and foremost, but Pidas have come on board the second year and they've supported us all the way through, and that's why we culminate in this big Kershaw Cup Wednesday or Thursday today.
Okay, Thursday night, it's beautiful. Archer, thanks for the invite. I mean, obviously Babwe Banter, it's exciting stuff. Jan, I think, talking about this, the ethos of what's happening out there, Zimbabwe needs more of this.
Yeah. More tea or more of the
I've got a secret. Liam Middleton's offered us beers.
That makes Liam the poorer.
The poorer. Yeah. I've got to tell you that this is probably the most soberest these oaks have ever been. So, drinking tea, but we have been offered some beers from Mr. Middleton. Fantastic stuff. Liam, this has been 5 years in the making. It's been going. The Kershaw Cup, let's talk about that.
So basically, it's the culmination of the Floodlit 7 series. So we'll play 5 tournaments on average every Wednesday, well supported by parents, by pupils. But what we've created with Peter House, they've been one of our key supporters of the 7 series from the start. So what we do is we play them twice in a season. So other schools will play once. And what we do is we take all the scores from the first leg against Peter House and combine them with all the scores from the second leg, which is today, from under 14 A's and B's up to first team. So if all of Hellenic's scores go into a pot, and all of Peter House's scores go into a pot, okay? And then on the second part of the series, we combine all those scores, and the team at the end, or the school at the end, who's got the most scores will win. So each team that competes tonight and on the previous Wednesday has a chance of competing for the Kershaw Cup, not the first team at the end of the night. Even the under 14 Bs, they are pushing to try and get as many scores as they can to try and get the Kershaw Cup.
Brilliant. Look, we've just got to say thank you from Babwe Banter. I know you've got commitments. From our side, thanks for the beers, thanks for your time. We were here before. We've really enjoyed our time at Hellenic. We hope we can continue with it. And guys, I think we've just got to give this man give him a belt.
Or give him a tea.
Or give him a tea. After the break,
Cheers.
after the break, We are going to have beers on the table. We've been given permission by the sports director, but it's all going to be happening. We've got school sport, we have got national sport, international sport. We're covering a rugby as well, the Hellenic Cup, all coming back on Babu Banter. Follow us coming up at the next. Guys, welcome back to Bubway Banter. It's been an incredible chat with Liam Middleton. We're just talking about how excellent Hellenic is doing with the Floodlight Sevens. They continue with the momentum. Luke Manthe, who's been brought in the Aquatics as well as the Zim water polo as well. We're just going to chat to you, Luke. Welcome to Bubway Banter.
Cool. Thank you very much for having me.
Right, tell us what you're doing here. What's happening?
Cool. Yeah, I've made the decision to move up here from down
where?
south. Becher. Guys have been chasing me all evening.
Oh, hang on. Let's get this like to say.
I stayed there for 3 years. It is Becher.
Becher.
No wonder
The Bay. The Bay.
Not Prince Edward.
Right, so yeah. Tell us what you're doing here. Obviously, it's awesome that you are here giving incredible experience to the kids here at Hellenic. It's good stuff.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a good move. It's been quite pretty solid. I've obviously come over here to take over the head of Aquatics, which is swimming and water polo, and obviously my expertise is with the water polo world. So it's actually been quite cool to come and see the talent that Zimbabwe has around, and I actually firmly believe that there's good direction for the sport here in the country.
Well, looking at Zimbabwe water polo, it's growing, it's exponential. I mean, Hellenic, they were unbeaten, I think.
Absolutely.
I got the ladies,
Yeah.
the women, the girls were basically unbeaten. I mean, so tell us how well they did.
Cool. Yeah, they've just gone from strength to strength over the last 2.5 months. They've put a lot of work in, they've put a lot of effort in, and we even traveled down south to a tournament, and we finished in the top 8, which is also pretty big, for a team from Zimbabwe to go down to.
Yeah. Moving to Zim, it's obviously been a change, but I mean, it's for the best. I think obviously it's going to be incredible for you what you're putting in now, what you're going to see down obviously near the end of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even in a year, 2 or 3 years' time, we've got a few targets that we want to reach, and our big competition going is now against South Africa, and we hope that in a couple of years' time we can start closing the gap between us and South Africa.
Can any of you boys swim? Can you swim?
So, you know how all floats on top of water? Does that help the fat guys too?
Yeah, and we can give you some.
I dive like
Just
a
for you
brick
to
and swim
float
like
on
a
a-
spade. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
You should come join us for a session one day
Yeah.
and just check
See if
how
I can
it goes.
fix some of your other
Yeah.
I treat water like a bunch of keys.
So do I. So it's fine.
Luke, thanks very much, man. Thank you. I know you guys are busy. Welcome to Hellenic. You're doing a fantastic
Welcome to
job,
Zimbabwe.
especially
Yeah,
with
cheers. Thank you.
the ladies. I've got to be very specific about that.
Yeah.
Especially with the ladies. Well done for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Guys, that was Luke Manthe. We're coming back to you with all our sport after this.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was watching on the ICC app, and I just had goosies. I could feel that energy through the camera. So I can only imagine what it was like in the stands. And it's also how lucky is it when your big money spender or Gary Balance when he steps up and he
There we
knocks,
go.
Well, let's be honest. It's so nice for the top guys just to do what they do.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do it, and then they made it difficult. And then when the captain came in, everyone stepped up and they set the bar. And then it was a lot easier for us. So it just shows how it can be a lot easier than leaving it to the bottom. But the same happened with their side. Their top of their batting is very good, and it just let them down in the last game. So
it's nice when your bowlers, it's all we're talking about the batting, but they create the pressure or relieve the pressure. So it's the two sides. And in this last game, the Zim bowlers to restrict the Netherlands outfit.
And a hat-trick.
Quality hat-trick.
And a hat-trick.
What did we restrict them for? What was it? 230?
Yeah.
KJ?
No, about 2:30, I think it was.
Yeah. And how that just reduced
Yeah.
the pressure. Now all they
Instead of 270,
But
which was the others.
talking about the crowd, I was talking to the GM, Dirk Fillion, and he said that he has never ever seen Harare Sports Club like that, he said, in his career and ever in cricket. So it must have been really special to watch that and to be part of that and actually to be at that stadium.
And now that momentum is going into, well, that vibe, because culture develops over time. Eh?
Yeah.
And the Zim cricket side, they've built this since the World Cup. They've generated this interest, and people are going. It's a winning team, and it's not just a winning team like playing against random African sides. International teams.
Absolutely.
And now we're going into the qualifiers. Can you imagine the
Wow.
And they're putting lights up at Sports Club.
Hey,
Can you
there
please
you
provide
go.
us with a generator?
There you go.
When you give them to us.
Well, guys, also, that's a build-up for the Pakistan 6 T20s that are happening. I mean, that's massive stuff. And now, like you're saying, that momentum is building. It's going to be hard to get tickets to go to the games. I mean, when you look at that type of
You know,
vibe.
Robbie, it's just encouraging to see what Zim Cricket is doing right now. If you think back to where we used to be, how the guys have just brought the game up from the bottom up. It's just
Absolutely.
encouraging to see what the guys are doing now.
It's so encouraging to see that guys are staying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The problem is everyone just leaves.
absolutely.
So at least we're creating a culture where people want to stay and play for Zim.
Absolutely.
And that's what we want.
Checking out as well, South Africa played West Indies. Maddie, we were talking about that. I mean, that was brilliant.
Unbelievable. Yeah?
Hit it,
Hey?
Jan. Hit it.
Hey.
Well, the West Indies, they went in and they only scored 250 runs. And then undauntedly, South Africa, they entered. And suddenly their batsmen started putting a couple of runs together and they scored and won the game. I don't know, 7 wickets. wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Good
we're
wickets.
going to say
Yeah.
Hugh Bladen move over. Jan Ferreira, yes in Boetie.
Yeah.
Right, guys, okay, we're going to go quickly into rugby. Let's talk about URC. No URC this week, but Heineken Cup. JJ, what's happening? The
Yep.
Bulls, Boetie. What's happening to the Bulls?
Bulls are not looking too good on all fronts, hey? Curry Cup, URC, not looking good. I'm hoping we can turn the corner this weekend. But we up in France, playing against Toulouse, I think it is.
Yeah.
We're playing them this weekend. You got the South Sea Sharks up against Munster, also with the Heineken Cup. And then you've got Stormers against the Harlequins. So those are the big games this weekend. The one big one that I am looking forward to on Saturday morning is the Blues against the Chiefs. Super Rugby.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Oh.
It's
cracker.
going to be a cracker.
There you go.
Absolute cracker.
South Africa got binned there. Jan, your opinions of that, with us getting binned from that? It's actually not a bad thing because now
Not
we're
at
actually in our own timeline. We don't have to get up at 4 o'clock or something stupid to watch a
Our
rugby
drinking
game.
doesn't start at 4 now.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, that's also true.
I think it's a mixed bag there, Rob. Think about it. We do miss New Zealand quality,
Yeah.
right? But the travel was hectic. Now also all our rugby is happening on our time zone. We're also playing against guys with got similar style.
And
to
let's
us.
be honest, half of freaking the Oaks playing that side are from New Zealand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like it's that much different.
Yeah.
A lot of them have moved over as well for the money.
Yeah.
So it's not that different.
Absolutely.
And South Africa is benefiting, eh? Like, let me tell you, these acts have landed with their gluteus maximus in the butter here, for lack of a better phrase. Because think about it, they're playing up north for all their clubs, and then they play the championship. So, what more could you ask for? It's a wonderful situation. Going back to the Bulls, though,
Oh,
all fronts. Let's include Varsity Cup. I mean, the bloody Tuckies.
yeah.
Yep.
Tucks, they got booted out of the tournament that they are the current champions.
Yeah. 2021, 2022 champions. Tucks were the champions and relegated down. I mean, that's not good.
No, but Rob, how often does that happen? You have a brilliant 2 years. You can't run all the time at being the best because your players that are at the top, you need a squad of so many. So those lighties haven't had the chance. Now, those guys have all left, and it often happens in a school where they're the topper and then all of a sudden they drop down. So it's not the first time that's happened.
Do you have a relative there or something? I mean, why are you defending Tuckies so much?
I'm not defending them, I'm just saying it happens all over.
Maybe we should ask
Ask the Bulls, it happened to them.
Maybe let's ask JJ. JJ, the Bulls are under pressure. The Sharks are under pressure. The Sharks are spending big money, and they are under big pressure. Two brilliant coaches, astute coaches. I mean, Jimmy Stoner is, I think he is absolutely annihilating in the Currie Cup First Division. I mean, he is outstanding. Do you think he's going to be kind of coming into the fray of those bigger unions soon?
I don't think so. I think Jimmy will stay more with the Pumas and stuff. I'm hoping at some point he may get pulled into maybe the box.
I'm talking higher up, maybe into the box or box A's or.
I'm hoping he will be. If not the Springboks, then definitely South Africa A. What he's done with the Pumas the last couple of years, and he's really stuck it out. He's been there many years, hasn't jumped ship, and now they're sitting pretty at the top of the log there. Bulls not looking too good. Rugby in general in Pretoria is not looking too
Wat
good.
gaan aan by die Bulls?
Well, you say that. Hang on. Volmaat is the club rugby in Pretoria, and the club, they are pretty strong. You've got the Naka Bulls. In Pretoria, you've got the Pretoria Police, the Harlequins. Those are all pretty strong sides. And believe it or not, there's a Zim contingent that has hit. Well, most clubs in South Africa, especially Durban. I know Gauteng clubs, they've got quite a lot of Zimbos, but the Western Cape. The Western Cape alone, there must be probably, I don't think I'd be far off by estimating it's probably about 25 to 30 Zimbos playing in the Premier League. Wow. In the Super League.
Let's hope we can bring them back to play for Babu.
Well, the thing is with the last Super Sport Challenge and Super Sport Challenge and the Currie Cup that we had down south, and they were based in Cape Town, all those players were playing club rugby. And if they weren't selected for Goshawks, they'd play club rugby and then they'd go play Goshawks. So, and that's good level here. Those clubs down south, Jimmy Stonehouse, he's built a side from club players, and they are beating professionals. It just shows what a bit of the right attitude, the right chemistry, and fierce.
Absolutely. Okay, we know also at Hellenic we have got the Cheetahs here, the Cheetahs Sevens. Matt, they're obviously trying to build for a good season. It's always difficult in Zimbabwe, obviously, with the financial situation. This is good stuff that they're getting exposure to sell their kits. I mean, well, there we go. I mean, we're talking about a professional, or let's say a professional side that has to sell caps to raise money to. So we really need Zimbabwe corporates to VUCA and try and get behind these guys. You know, our Zim Sevens have done relatively well for what, Jan, maybe 15 years where they've had consistent.
They did so well until they got to touch ball and played against Sandman. And you know, when we walked over them, they were not happy. Anyway, they're still licking their wounds. They're back here trying to actually play a game of rugby. Boys, tiddlywinks.
Just quickly, just some local events happening. The Mud Run this weekend. Jan, I think you could be commentating or you're doing the emceeing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I might run out at Donnybrook. Apparently it's quite a massive event. I mean, this is going to be my first one. They've had some hectic celebrities there in the past. Chatting like Beast and Twarira. He's been on the mic there before. So yeah, it's well supported. I heard that there's probably about 6,000 to 7,000
Are you trying to bring yourself into the fray of Beast? Is that what you're trying to do there? Just by mentioning him on the mic?
Eventually you'll come to my league. Don't worry. Don't wash your hand.
Listen, Chana.
The most important thing is we've got to say thank you very much for being accommodated by Hellenic. Thank you, Liam Middleton. It's been fantastic, boys. I think we've got to say it's
100%.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege to be out here, Jan. I think it's it's also created a bit of vibe for us as well with the kids, and that's great to see. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. Right, coming back after the break, we've got the legend, Zimbabwe rugby player, as well as Sevens rugby player, Scotty Jones, in the house with the Babwe Banter. It's going to be good stuff. He roommated with Jan Ferreira. Welcome back to Babwe Banter. We have got an absolute legend now in the studio. His name is Scotty. Scotty, welcome to the Babwe Banter. First time. I can see you're a little bit nervous because you roomed with Jan Ferreira. How was that?
No, very interesting, I must say. We roomed all over the world whenever we went on tour. And it was not a joke.
Scotty the Hood Rat Jones, ow, in the house.
Right. So Scotty Jones played Zimbabwe Rugby, Zimbabwe Sevens. He's now reffing at a pretty high level as well, Scotty. Obviously tonight, being at Hellenic, are you seeing some good rugby being played?
Definitely, a lot of good talent from under 14s all the way to first team. And I managed to have the privilege of reffing our Cheetahs. They had 2 teams on, and it's looking good. Some good play, but too much running for me. I'm getting too old. I think I pulled my hamstring and sweating, I'm sure you can see. But it was wonderful, and a wonderful Hellenic has put up a really, really nice show.
Well, talking about good play, Jan Ferreira's got a story about you. You guys roomed together. That must have been an interesting roomie to be with. Jan?
Yeah, look, Scotty didn't really take up much space, so the double bed was fine. And then he got to sleep on the kit bags.
He fitted in the kit bag.
He fitted in it. But yeah, we went to Namibia, and we played against Spain and Namibia, obviously. And we took a locally based side only, so we didn't have any foreign-based players.
So that's why Yerkes made it, eh?
That's exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I was chosen when I was playing for Busters, by the way, so obviously I made it.
I'm surprised I didn't make it then.
Yeah, no, we need to. And so at the end of the game, we went out to the tin roof of Windhoek.
Oh.
And it was myself, Scotty, Danny Robertson, and Peter Joubert, and we were sitting at the bar. And then this bald guy rocks up, and he starts telling me, he's like, "You the Zimbabweans?" He has a thick Afrikaans accent. Like, yeah, no, I'm with Rassie. So we're like, oh, Rassie. And Rassie and Nissak had been brought in to help Namibia with their defense.
Wow.
And then, they only beat us by 6 points, but in their own backyard, so
yes.
remember? And this just went on and on and on. Eventually, we got through to him, and like, who are you? And it was Jacques Nienaber.
Wow.
And Jacques Nienaber, all he could sing was this expression, you the scrum off. This guy's got balls like this. That's what he could say about Scotty Jones.
What does he know that we don't know, Scotty, my boy? Was he in the kit bag with you?
So anyways, and the whole night, we were just sharing stories, listening to this. He had gone with Jake White and them, and so we were introduced to Jacques before we knew who he was. And his boyfriend over here,
he liked his balls.
Scotty, you obviously roomed with this man as well, played rugby with him. A little story in there.
Yeah.
With Jan Ferreira.
Well, I know this is banter, this is an incredible story, I must say. We had a lot of fun stories, but this was something that's really got to my heart. And we were in Namibia, and Jan's dad passed away while we were on tour. He had the opportunity to go home, to go to see his family, and he chose not to. He chose to stay with the team and play that last game. And that, for me and for a lot of Zimbabweans, was the most incredible heart I've ever seen from somebody. So I know it's...
Just giving us all goosebumps. Hey, this is Babwe Banter, don't make us cry. Yes.
That was Tunisia, Africa.
Yeah. Wow.
The Tunisia,
but on a more fun
and you won it, eh?
We won it? Yeah,
we did.
That was the day after my dad passed away. We had the final.
Wow.
And, but Oaks, I don't want to go on the flight with the whole Jonesy. That's why I stayed behind. I might get lost in Dubai.
But on the rugby field, well, we know how big he is, but he always caused the trouble and always ran behind me, because obviously I was the one who had to sort all the fights out against Busters, against everyone else, and going to Bulawayo boys wanted to fight us, Probably because we always used to take your chicks, That's probably why you wanted to fight us, That's the way it goes.
MCD always took the chicks.
Oh, that's a lie. Have you not seen the sign? Bulawayo Zero Betties.
Scotty, and club rugby, let's talk about reffing now. You're going into the reffing. Are you enjoying it as much as playing? Is it kind of like something that you could professionally do as a living?
I would love to. It's my only way to sort of keep in the game, because obviously I can't play anymore because of all the injuries. But just being out there on the field and the ball was bouncing in front and the guy was catching, and I just sort of wanted to tackle out, show him who his boss. But
doesn't get run over. I know Bobby Banter was supposed to rip him, but Yeah, he doesn't get run over.
No.
Look, that's why he's got balls like this.
Literally.
Look, for Jacques Ninaba to kind of handpick you out and to praise you, that shows the caliber of, and to be honest, you did have balls because you were the smallest soak on that field. You gave 150% and you were always there. You could take the biggest guy down and you'd hit him.
Don't bring Jan into this.
Obviously, injuries now. I mean, did you pick up injuries? And I mean, are you managing those injuries?
Sort of, doing my best. So I did an appearance race at Springvale. I tore my...
Wow.
That's how bad. Yeah.
Just to quickly highlight, we were at Lefordia today. Probably one of the best, well-run athletics days that I've ever been to. Brilliant school. I'm just going to say well done, Jan. It's just what you guys put into the kids and how you run stuff there at Lefordia. This is going off topic, but well done for what you guys do, at Lefordia.
No, thanks very much. Well, remember also Scotty was at Lefordia. You were there for 5-6 years, eh?
Yeah.
In total. And so a lot of the stuff that's there, his mark is also still there. So thanks for that, Scotty. And
Thank
I'm
you for
gutted
that.
to hear that you played for the Zambezi Cheetahs, went to Hong Kong, played for the Sables, you're an Africa Cup winner, and then you do your hamstring and appearance race.
That's how bad it got. And I promise you, all the other fathers were a bit older. So I was saying, hey, don't you Owens pull your hamstrings or whatever? And they were fine. And I did my bloody hamstring. So disaster. Anyway, it's nothing you can't strap up and have an injection and keep going,
That's it.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got to say thank you from Banter for coming on. I'm sure we're going to have you on again. You certainly are a character. And good luck with the reffing. I mean, you never know where that can go. If Jacques Ninaba sees you, you're flying much under.
And I just want to say thank you so much. It's a privilege to be here with you guys, bunch of legends. And you're doing so well. And thank you very, very much, you guys, for having me.
We'll
Thank
take
you.
that. We'll
We
take
will
that.
take
Bunch
that.
of legends.
Why
Right, guys, coming.
KJ.
That was Scotty
we don't know
Jones.
him.
We're going to be coming back. We've got some school rugby, Krugersdorp, happening there. And then we're going to wrap it up here on Babu Banter. Catch you just now. Right, welcome to the final segment here on Zimbabwe Banter. We're just covering quickly some school sport. A lot of Zimbabwe schools are attending the Krugersdorp competition that's happening, or tournament happening in Krugersdorp. JJ, this is kind of your stomping ground, the Bulls and Johannesburg. Games played there, it's going to be fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend of fixtures there. I'm quite keen to see what Wise Owl and Gateway are going to bring to the party in terms of their selections and how they do rugby-wise there. CBC, Prince Edward, pretty strong teams. Quite excited to see how they fare against the South African sides.
Oh, let's see Hellenic as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's going to be interesting to see the team that's here now this evening, packaging it into a 23-man squad going to Krugersdorp. I think it's good stuff, the Sevens. Jan, for fitness, looking who's got the skills. Obviously, you know, the coaches are going to be looking extensively on that.
Are you asking me to? I'm a lock. Like, this is just making all your props and your forwards thin. You need fat guys. Come on, man. That's what we. But I am quite also interested to see how Heritage, Hillcrest, and Hellenic. And who's the other one? Yeah, Heritage, Hellenic, Hillcrest. How they also feature down there, because they're taking on some of those Afrikaans sides, and those Dutchman sides, they're going to put you through your paces, your physicality, and so on. And you know, with Zimbabwe, if we stick to what we can do, that flary rugby, move the ball, make those fat guys, make those big Dutchmen run, then we could level that playing field. And you know, when they're unfit and blowing.
That's it.
Historically, though, I mean, Krugersdorp, big guys, not as good. I went down there when Falcon went, when Greg, my cousin, was with Falcon, and they actually gave them a good hiding. Just literally what we're saying. Good movement of the ball. They were bigger, yes, and everything else. But let's hope these boys can give them a good showing.
And most of the schools that are playing there are also from Harare. I mean, you know, they all say like, no, yeah, we're in the high felt, these guys. Harare is pretty high, my man.
Yeah, there we go.
And we've
but
got
it's a different type of high.
St. John's are going to play against St. John's in
Yes.
South Africa as well. That's why they're not there.
Yes, I see
So
that.
we'll also keep our eye on what's going on there.
Well, I bumped into Doug Travella today. They are going up against some tough opposition there. Obviously a building phase for him again. A lot of youngsters coming through. It's good for Zimbabwe Rugby. We've got to play more games. We've got to be playing more South African teams.
Yep.
I think it's important there, JJ, that we make sure that we get better competition, because if then you're gonna lift your performance as well.
Exactly. It's very important for especially the Zimbabwe schools to get out there, to get that exposure, so they can be seen playing against the South African boys, bigger boys, test what we've got here. Just going into this, I don't know if any of you saw that 15-year-old boy standing shoulder to shoulder with Eben Netzebeth.
Yes.
So Zim schools have got their work cut out for them.
But then, you know, on that note, it's not necessarily just Zim schools playing in South African schools. Falcon, they've gone to Namibia. Now, Namibia, those are always our closest rivals, hey?
Yeah.
And so they played yesterday against Walvis Bay. I don't know how you say that in the English.
Bay.
Wales Bay. Anyways, and they ended up drawing the game. And Falcon had a kick in front of the poles. Some of the people there were saying that the wind, scrum halves could barely get the ball to their flies, and so he missed the kick right at the end to win the game.
Goodness me.
I had
But
the
they
same
also-
excuse
they-
most of my playing career.
With no wind. But also their guys, the local Oaks, I mean, they had a couple of kicks in front of the poles and they bought it.
Hit
eh?
it.
So
Yeah.
So
And
well
Manthe,
done,
Manthe,
team.
I want to finish with you quickly. Being at Hellenic, obviously Babwe Banter, we're keen to get out. We're keen to go to events. We are open. You know, just throw out there what
I think
what
we're super
potentially we
amped
can
to
do.
get out to St. John's for their tournament. We've got the Prince Edward tournament, and we've also got the Middleton tournament. So if they would like to host us, we'd be pretty amped to get out there.
Yeah. Okay, so that draws you to the end of the Babwe Banter. Just got to say thanks to my group here. Fantastic stuff. Hellenic School, keep up the great work. Fantastic work. Thank you, Liam Middleton. To Luke as well as I mean, Scotty Jones. One absolutely beautiful guy. And checking out as well, we are running a competition. You've got to make sure that you subscribe on Babwe Banter. Make sure that you like on Facebook, share, and follow us on Instagram. Whoever does the most, you're going to win a Babwe Banter shirt in the next 2 weeks. We're going to be running that competition on our pages. Guys, it's been great. Hellenic, thank you. To you guys, keep on subscribing, keep on sharing. Catch you next week.